Hey everybody, welcome to Onefootball Live. Every Thursday we're here bringing you the latest football stories, and today we're going to be talking about Ballon d'Or, which just happened. We're going to be talking about the Manchester Derby, the Merseyside Derby. We're going to be talking about all sorts of other stuff, including the biggest scout in the world joining Arsenal. Yeah, Diamond Eye. And if you haven't realised, next to me is the supremely talented and knowledgeable Tom Genoy. Aston Villa. Of course, you guys must know him from 1-2, which is by far my favourite Onefootball show.
Somebody actually recognised me from Butch Villa. Somebody recognised me on a Butch Villa kickoff video. Somebody wrote, and the videos unfortunately don't get too many views at the moment on kickoff. Somebody wrote, one of the first viewers said, "Doesn't the presenter work for Onefootball?"
Yeah,
and
see, this is where it's at.
With that. So if that was you, get in touch. I want to PayPal you like a pint, because that was, I had a lot of fun off of that comment, so cheers.
See, so international famous footballing expert Tom Genoy joins us on the couch today. Aston Villa fan, don't really matter about that. The important thing is I'm a Manchester United fan, so we're going to be talking about the derby later on. I'm going to be talking to Dan Burke, a Manchester City expert, a real Mancunian. You know, there's not that many people in Manchester who actually support Manchester City, but we found one, Dan Burke, and he's a Manchester City expert. So we're going to talk about the derby later on via Skype. I know technology is going crazy these days, but first, let's just briefly, before we do anything else, let's just briefly talk about Ballon d'Or, Tom, because today the Ballon d'Or happened, and guess who won? Cristiano Ronaldo. Let us know in the comments, guys. Let us know in the comments. By the way, get involved. We've already got loads of people. Finn Mulan says he was the first to watch. I think there were a few before you. Leah says hello. How you doing?
First to watch. I've never done this live show before, and I am usually the first guy in the watch. I've made the leap from the live chat where I'm commenting, winding these boys up, to the live sofa.
And Owen Tully wants to do the same thing. He says, "I've liked the stream. Can I be a moderator?" Well, Owen, you've watched us loads and loads of times, so you know, work on your portfolio, and maybe one day, if you send your CV down to Onefootball Central here in Berlin, what you do have to do is move to Berlin. That's kind of part of that. That's going to be a bit difficult, I suppose. And we've already got people talking about the City derby. Yummy Yummy says City is the best, and Pogba getting banned will have an impact. We're going to talk about that later, definitely. Sagal Nation saying Ronaldo is not better than Messi. He is far better. Let's talk about Let's talk about the Ballon d'Or. Cristiano Ronaldo won. Did he deserve it?
Well, we've been speaking about this, and he won the Champions League. Messi didn't win the Champions League. Now, you were saying in certain statistical analyses, or in all of them, and I'm not sure exactly which you mean.
Issues with the microphones, and you want to obviously hear Tom's bombastic voice. So we've just addressed that issue, and I think we've got you back. Say something, Tom. Talk to me.
Are we back? Can you
Lovely,
hear me?
we're back.
Can you hear my baritone?
Ryan says, "I'm back as well." Good to see you, Ryan.
Hello, mate.
Owen Tully saying Messi deserved the Ballon d'Or. Now, I've got a very shall we say, revolutionary concept here. I don't think it's that revolutionary. It should just happen. Football is a team sport, so why do we have apples and oranges? Why do we have all the players lumped into one category? Shouldn't there be something like best goalkeeper, best defender, best fullback, best defensive midfielder, best attacking midfielder, and best striker?
The thing is, you know that if you do that, it loses a little bit of the shine, and especially in recent years, this is why we're not probably. I mean, look, we're not that excited about the Ballon d'Or at the moment because in recent years, I don't know how long it's been. It was the FIFA Ballon d'Or. Now they're not the same thing again. But how long it's been since it wasn't Ronaldo or Messi. The thing is, if you do it obviously for each position, then it does lose a little bit of its shine. And rather than taking like a team photo up on the podium, Ronaldo wants to be there on his Todd, smiling with a trophy in his hand. So does Messi. Yeah, there's just something about being the one, isn't there?
Yeah, but then I guess if you're a defender, you can never really win. I mean, Fabio Cannavaro, to be fair, won it in 2006. That's one person. There has been one goalkeeper, I believe, that has won it, but it is. Yeah, I mean, are we bored of the Ballon d'Or, guys? Let us know in the comments. Are you guys bored of the Ballon d'Or? Are we maybe just spoiled,
I think also if you know that you're going to be a defender, you basically have signed up for a little bit of a thankless task anyway.
Yes.
There are like enormous egos in football, and the Ballon d'Or is an idea, is an institution which services them.
Yeah. Let's talk about one of the big games that's happening this weekend. Obviously, the much bigger game is the Manchester Derby. We all agree on that. Guys, let us know in the comments who you support and who you're going to be watching this weekend. But first, we've got to talk about the Merseyside Derby. Liverpool-Everton.
Yeah.
It's happening this weekend.
Yeah.
Just before the City United Derby. United City Derby. Why am I saying City first? Hello. City are visiting us at Old Trafford, where we have a 40-game unbeaten run. It's going to be tasty.
Whoa,
but
okay, that's quite statistic.
Yeah, see, best club in the world, basically.
Whoa, all right. Happening for the first time, actually, is going to be another, because there's going to be another Merseyside derby because they were drawn against each other in the third round of the FA Cup. That is going to be a cracker.
Very true, very true. Lots of news that's happened today. Among that, the FA Cup draw. But first, let's talk about Merseyside derby. Now, Tom and I were talking about the new Everton coach before we got on air, and we realised we have a slight difference of opinion about Sam Allardyce. What is your opinion?
My opinion on Sam Allardyce is that he is a stone cold, solid gold wanker, and he's everything that's wrong with English football. It was a disaster when he was announced as the England manager. What? If I was an Everton fan, I would be gutted. I don't like anything about him.
I can't believe that. Well, I can believe that. I mean, look, Sam Allardyce was one of the first people, this is going to sound really stupid, first people to use PowerPoint in English football. No, but he was genuinely one of the first managers to use sports science.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the best out of a lot of players at Everton, including Rooney. Calvert-Lewin, another player who I actually really like, who, he's kind of been thrown into the fray because Everton just don't have a striker. Today they were linked with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Yeah, okay, but I mean...
Not your usual Sam Allardyce signing.
There's no way on this earth that Aubameyang is going to go to look at him.
Look at this, he's got an earpiece.
No way.
He's at the forefront
there
of
is
technology.
no way that Aubameyang is working for that. I'm sorry. Aubameyang he can go where he likes. He was still, I mean, this Ballon d'Or table, where did Aubameyang come in? He was in the pot. I mean, he might not have ranked entirely.
I'm not sure where he came in.
That brilliantly highly. But he's spoken about as one of the best players in the world. There's no way that he's going to go and work for Sam Allardyce.
Well, you say that, but Everton have got a lot of money. They've got a bit of cash to throw around. What I didn't understand in the transfer window is that they didn't go after someone like Aubameyang, an out-and-out striker. Well, even though Aubameyang started on the wing his career, but
a goal scorer, basically.
Yeah, because they sold their biggest goal scorer, Lukaku. Okay, he said he wanted to use Everton as a stepping stone. Fair play, in my opinion. And obviously, I'm happy because he's gone to Man United. But it's a strange one for me because then you sign Gylfi Sigurdsson, Klaassen, and Rooney, all are most comfortable in the number 10 position.
And Ross Barkley is still there.
Yeah, what's going to happen to him?
Well, he's apparently been trying to run down his contract, or he's coming back from injury and he wants to leave. But yeah, it's up to Allardyce to try and keep hold of him. I suppose if he decides that he needs a fourth number 10, that makes 40.
Clearly, Manchester United fans have more love for Sam Allardyce than Villa fans, because Mr. Red Half Manchester says Sam is quality. Sagar Nation says, I agree with you, Sam is stone cold. So Sagar Nation's with you.
Yes, Sagar.
Owen Tully, though, says, I think that Sam might make Everton at least a little bit better. Now,
fine.
I think he'll make, look, I think he'll make him better. And I think, you know, he had that famous quote where he said, if I was called Sam Allardyce, I'd be getting jobs in the top half of the table.
This is another thing which I don't like about Sam Allardyce, who was recently on two people in sports broadcasting who you do not want to be associated with if you want people to think that you're a nice bloke. Richard Keys and Andy Gray. He was recently on a show in Qatar with Richard Keys and Andy Gray. He said that the Premier League is a foreign league in England, said that English coaches can't get decent jobs in the Premier League. You're a second class of coach if you're an English coach. And something else, I can't remember. Some of a nasty comment that he made. Allardyce has pocketed loads of money from loads of Premier League. He's managed 7 Premier League clubs now. He's never won a trophy.
Well, yeah, but has he ever managed a club where that's even a feasible thing to achieve?
Well, why not? People do arrive at clubs where winning trophies isn't a feasible thing, especially if you've been around as long as Sam Allardyce has, where you know the borders between the best and the kind of mediocre, the middle in the Premier League, have hardened over the past 20 or 30 years, right? Allardyce has been around for a long time. Managers do arrive at clubs where winning trophies seems like something which is beyond them, and then they defy those like relatively meagre expectations. Allardyce has never done it. He's the crown prince of mediocrity, and to boot, he's also a horrible bloke.
Okay, well, we've clearly established that Tom doesn't like Sam Allardyce. Latino boy asking a really good question that we'll come to in a minute. Interesting username, by the way. It's Hawk is saying it's going to be a close one. Let's talk about the derby.
Let's get back to the match.
Let's talk about the actual match, because Liverpool yesterday won 7-0 against Spartak.
Count them.
Yeah. We see here some of the pictures, some of the things that we love about the Merseyside derby. It's a really tightly contested match. The fans are going to be up for it. The players are going to be up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, 7-0, that's going to give them some confidence, but they are going to get a slightly more defensive approach, I think, against them when Jurgen Klopp faces Sam Allardyce.
Definitely, it's going to be a tough opponent. And I mean, Klopp by now probably is used to this, to the mentality that Allardyce has, because Allardyce's mentality is not unique to him. It's fairly clapped footballing, can't really call it a philosophy, but style, way of playing and way of approaching games. To be fair though, it's a decent approach to have when you go into a derby.
Yes.
And he's done okay so far since he's taken over. It would obviously be a massive thing. He didn't go to Cyprus tonight. Everton are playing Apollon, I think, in the Europa League. They're already out, but he's sent like a B team to go and play, and apparently hasn't even made the trip himself because he's buzzing for the derby.
Okay.
Which actually I respect that. Having said, let me give him a tiny little bit of credit.
Just a tiny bit.
I do respect that decision. There I am. Yeah, and if there was one game that I wouldn't mind following Allardyce into, it's probably a derby like this one.
I mean, you look at the attack.
I still think they're going to get whacked.
You reckon Liverpool are going to win?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you've got to say, I think Sam Allardyce is going to make them more compact. He's going to make them a better team. He's going to be able to take them. I mean, they're definitely not going to get relegated now. They've got Sam Allardyce at the helm.
That's not what he does. He doesn't get relegated.
I think he might be able. Yeah, I think he might be able to take him a little further next season. Maybe just get around the top 7, 8, something like that.
He said he apparently came in and said that was his aim was to steer them to a 7th place finish again.
Well, you know, that's not a bad thing.
So
Everton, by the way, winning 3-0 at Apollon.
They're winning 3-0.
No, they've already won.
They've already won.
Ademola Lookman with 2 goals and Vlasic with 2 goals.
They also apparently took. Now this is big up Everton fans. They apparently sold out. They had a 1,400 allocation, and apparently sold it out, even though they're already out of the Europa League. So hold tight, all the Everton fans who went to Cyprus. That's impressive.
Very impressive.
Although I saw a picture which was apparently taken inside the ground, and it looks like the stand was half empty. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Either they got bumped by the club and just didn't get given very many tickets, or the picture was, I don't know, whatever happened. But if you sold out your allocation for a game for which you know that you can't even make it through from
Fair play. Good work, Everton fans.
Good stuff, Everton. Now, Liverpool, do you see them coming close to the top 4 this season? I feel like they're going to be one of the teams to miss out. Them and Arsenal, for me, are the two that I can see dropping out of that top 4.
It could kind of go either way for those pair, couldn't it?
Because I feel like City and United will finish 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think they will stay where they are.
Tottenham, even though they're in a bit of a slump just now, and I can see Arsenal finishing top 4. Liverpool, I mean, Mo Salah's really dragging them up the table.
He's smashing it.
But can you see them in the top 4?
Some of those goals last night. Can I see them in the top 4? I'm not sure. I also wouldn't be quite so quick to write Tottenham off. They are in a slump, and it is actually... sorry, you didn't just write Tottenham off.
No, I didn't write them off. I just said
I was about to write Tottenham off.
You were about to, okay.
I was just going to say that the slump isn't quite so minor. They are actually... I didn't realise this until I was speaking to Matt, our dyed-in-the-wool Spurs fan, the other day. And actually, they're doing a bit worse than just not great. Can Liverpool make it into the top 4? I don't know. I think there probably is still a little bit of a gulf. Yeah, difficult one. I'm not sure.
Well, let's just get to the comments. Hold on. Galaxy Hunter is saying, please reply. Hi, Galaxy Hunter. Sorry.
Hello, mate.
Hi. Laksha, hello as well. Ryan is back again. Ryan, I believe, is a City fan, but we're all friends here at Onefootball. I can forgive that. We're going to be talking about City United later in great detail. It's going to be me against a City fan. So don't worry, it's not going to be partisan. Well, it will be, but you know, just on one side. Obviously, it'll be bipartisan. What a wonderful word. Lots of people here saying I think Man United will win. Lots of people saying City will win. We're going to talk about that later, Tom.
Yep.
Sagar Nation just gave me a wonderful compliment. He said, "What a lovely hairstyle." Thank you, Sagar Nation. I was worried, as this is boosting my ego.
Did he say, Max, what a wonderful hairstyle?
Max, you have a wonderful hairstyle. Thank you, Sagar Nation. What a lovely bloke.
No love, mate.
Galaxy Hunter with a slightly interesting thing, saying Lewandowski is so good and he has a daughter and a wife.
What?
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
What's
I get that's true.
What happened?
It's a Hawk saying if the Man United field is open or spaced out, City are going to shred United, absolutely smack them rags round. Well, it probably won't be open because Pogba's not playing, so they're going to keep it nice and elbowy with certain Marouane Fellaini, probably.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about that a bit more. You were saying Arsenal probably, top 4, you think? Yes, no, maybe?
I think Arsenal can do a top 4 finish, yeah.
Well, one man who can, no, we're not going to talk about that now. One man we're going to talk about later who is going to make a big impact on Arsenal is Sven Mislintat, the scout who is arriving or has arrived from Dortmund.
Yeah.
But first, let's have a little quiz.
I'm not buzzing for this, man.
I'm buzzing for this. This is going to be great, and you're going to lose.
I'm going to get found out on national
make
television.
sure you guys get onto your keyboards. Make sure you type in the answers if you know them on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, whatever you're on. So we're going to start the quiz right about now because it's a derby quiz. It's time for derby time on Sunday. It's going to be incredible. The Northwest Police Forces are going to have their hands full. It's going to be ridiculous. By the way, why do they have horses? I don't get that.
So
the big football
Geordies
matches, they have horses.
Punch them, mate.
Yeah. So let's have the quiz, guys. Let's have a little look at if we can drum the quiz up. Are we all good?
Roll
yeah,
the
we're
tape.
all good. Roll the tape and get involved, people. It's time for quiz. So, who scored his first career goal in a derby in May 1991?
Right,
now, you guys, make sure you type in the comments. I will be representing you guys, so I'm going to take what you guys answer and pit it against what Tom answers.
Okay.
So, Tom, who scored his first career goal in a derby in May 1991? What are you thinking behind here?
I think, I feel like I'm on fucking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I think Shearer, if I'm not wrong, started at Blackburn, and unless they were playing against, who's their derby at Blackburn? Bolton, Burnley?
Bolton? Probably Bolton.
Ronnie Rosenthal, I'm just going to come straight out and say I've got no idea who that is.
Ooh. Oh yeah,
okay.
He had a little relationship with the goalpost. Ronnie Rosenthal, so a Liverpool player in 1991. Was Ryan Giggs already playing in 91 now.
Giggs was playing in 91, mate. Giggs isn't veteran. I'm going to go with Giggs just because I like saying his name.
Okay,
so
hold on. We're just going to tally up who is commenting, guys.
Yeah, what does the chat say?
The chat is saying Alan, Ryan Giggs, Ryan Giggs, Ryan Giggs, Ryan Giggs, Ryan Giggs 1-0. Miro, Owen, okay, now they're coming in. Giggsy, Giggsy, Giggsy.
Giggsy, Giggsy, Giggsy.
Well, I think
Called it.
You're going Giggs and they're going Giggs. Let's see, drum roll please. I don't feel like it's going to be Giggs. I don't think he played then. Ryan Giggs!
Wow, knew it. Definitely he was playing then, mate.
91.
Yeah.
But he's the class of 92.
Yeah, it was a class of 90. But I don't know, maybe the rest of them just made it the class of 92.
Well, Giggsy was a bit older, wasn't he? He's 3 years older than Scholesy and Beckham and all them. He is. He's 2 years older than Beckham, I know that.
Yeah. He's 2 years older
2 or
than
3.
Beckham.
Yeah.
Giggs, he's got to be a few years older than Beckham, isn't he?
Beckham,
Really? Is Beckham that old? Anyway, right.
1-1, guys. Ian Rush, for you Liverpool fans out there. Ian Rush scored his 25th derby goal when this player scored his first in 1994. A little bit confusing here, guys. So when Ian Rush scored his 25th derby goal, this player scored his first in 1994.
In 94.
Steve McManaman, Robbie Fowler, and Phil Babb are the options here. What is happening in the mind of Tom Genoy?
Quite little. Some little people playing ping pong, and I'm doing.
That's what we call the show 1-2 because that's how far he can count.
Whoa! Whoa! I didn't sign up for this. I didn't come here for that.
No. Right. Let's have a look at this.
I hear 94, and I see Robbie Fowler and his beautiful flowing locks bouncing around on top of his head. So I'm going to go Robbie Fowler.
Ooh, you're going to go Robbie Fowler. Now, we're having a slight delay here, so I'm going to need more comments to come in.
Okay.
Although the first ones are Robbie Fowler. I need a bit more comments, guys. Make sure you get in the comments and write in. If you don't already have a YouTube account, or if you're not logged in, make sure you log into your YouTube account. Subscribe to Onefootball. Download the app. Happy days.
Happy
Everyone will be
days.
happy.
Fowler
or McManaman. Robbie Fowler. Ooh, somebody being a bit cheeky and writing his name wrong on purpose. It's Hawk. Manchester United Dab Mud. Interesting username. Saying McManaman. They're saying McManaman early, so Fowler. So again, same answer.
Yeah, okay.
Fowler, drum roll please. It is Robbie Fowler.
Yes!
Robbie Fowler.
100%. I'm
2-2 right now. So we need a tie break. I think everybody getting it right. Owen Tully getting it right. Latino Boys getting it right. Mero, Okasha, Martin Abdu, I Snipe, Kill, going for Fowler or McManaman. So that's, he's not doing it all.
No, you can't do you can't do that, mate.
Yeah,
there are only 3. You can't
Alex
mark 66%
chipping in very late
of the
on
answers.
with Bab.
Okay.
So he was wrong.
Well, never mind.
Owen Tully going with Steve Fowler. Yeah, a little bit creative with the Fowler name.
Just trying to cover both
Who
bases
set up
there,
Owen's famous 94th winner
over
Man City in 2009? Was it Owen Hargreaves, Wayne Rooney, or Ryan Giggs? What do you reckon, Tom? Tom is having a think, guys. Let us know who set up Michael Owen's famous 94th winner over Manchester City in 2009. So Michael Owen was playing for Manchester United, which I always thought was a little bit crazy to me. He wasn't very good, and he played for Liverpool. Yeah. Very strange. Very, very strange. Owen Hargreaves, Wayne Rooney, Ryan Giggs. Now, all 3 were at the club at the time, I think, right?
Well, I'm presuming so. I'm hoping that our quiz masters are being kind enough to at least give us that one.
Well,
Giggs certainly was, and Rooney, I think, Rooney definitely was. Rooney went to United in like 2007?
2006,
Can somebody tell me that, actually? When did Rooney go to United? Somebody's got to know that. You're all on your computers.
Well, it is 2007-8, I think he went.
Yeah?
If I'm not mistaken, I think maybe even before.
2005. Right, so Rooney was there. We've established that Rooney was there.
Rooney was there.
I couldn't promise anybody that Hargreaves was there. And in fact, I can hardly really remember Hargreaves running about in the United shirt at all.
Well, he was there when they won the Champions League final, which I believe was 2009, 2010.
Yeah, of course he was. God, that was...
He played in the Champions League final.
I saw some... I remember seeing highlights of that fairly recently and seeing Hargreaves on the pitch and just thinking, oh,
and John Terry slipped.
Yeah, I remember that in Moscow.
Very good. Very good. Guys,
answer. Giggs.
You're going to say Giggs. People here saying Rooney. So the first time we've got a different answer. It's 2-2 at the moment. What is the answer? Joe, please. It's Ryan Giggs.
Yes. Mate, I'm winning
3-2.
this one.
He's taken the
I'm
lead,
killing it.
guys. He's taken the lead. Okay, guys, we still have time to catch up. Let's go for the next quiz.
There you go.
Let's see what the next quiz question is. Which Manchester team has beaten the other 6-1 twice, both away?
What does that even mean?
I'm a bit confused by that as well. So, twice.
Twice.
So, which one of them has beaten the other in their own backyard 6-1, and it's happened twice?
Ooh.
Now, I know that Manchester City beat us 6-1.
I know that
once,
as well, yeah.
And that was the game where I was very confident that Rio Ferdinand had lost it. That was I remember the moment when I think it was Checo or someone sped past him who had no right to speed past Rio Ferdinand. And I thought, this is, he's gone now. He's had
That
it.
was United. City were a six-side that season.
Darren Fletcher scored the goal for United.
I'm going to go with City because I remember that result, and I'm gonna guess that there was maybe some time before I was born where that also happened, or before I was old enough to watch football.
You're going to say
go
City? Okay, well, the audience is saying United.
Shit.
So, drum roll, please. Who's got it right?
Yes!
4-2. 4-2 to Tom Genoy.
Get at me, mate. I'm untouchable.
Oh, it's looking difficult. We still, how many questions have we got left, guys? Six questions.
Whoa,
so
let's
we're
roll on.
fine. We're rolling. Let's go. Next question. Boom. What prevents a daddy longlegs being a spider? Hey! Interesting question. Why is a daddy longleg not classified as a spider? Is it not enough legs? Is it has a penis? Or is it does not have a penis?
It's because it does have a dick. It's because it does have a penis.
Do you reckon? Okay, I'm going to just wait for the audience to catch on to this question and get an answer.
I spoke that out with kind of embarrassing confidence, actually. But I just
I
plumped
feel
for
like,
that answer.
have you been examining
And I think
daddy long leg penises? So daddy long legs, for those of you who don't know, is a thing that looks like a spider, but it's not a spider.
It's a crane fly. It's called a crane fly.
It's a crane fly.
Yeah.
What prevents daddy long legs being a spider? Not enough legs.
See, I can't answer the football questions, but I can tell you what a crane fly is.
Is it because it has a penis, or because it does not have a penis? The first comment I've had here is, what? So that's not the answer. What is not the answer? I've had, is this, right.
Is this question?
What is this question? Yes.
It's a little break.
A little bit strange.
It's an oasis.
Yeah, we just thought we'd mixed it up. So, what prevents a daddy long legs being not a spider? Not being a spider. What? No.
What prevents a daddy long legs from being a spider? Bloody hell. Right. Daddy long legs is not a spider because it has a penis.
Legs,
is
not
my
enough
answer.
legs.
And it's final.
I'm gonna go on the audience. It's a bit mixed bag right now.
If this is about the legs, I'm walking.
You'll say penis. I think it's about the legs. Drum roll, please.
Doesn't it have wings?
Yeah, it does have wings. A penis!
Gratification.
So did you say it does have a penis? You did say it.
I said yes.
So we all know Tom Genoy.
So what am I on now? I'm on 5 out of 5 now?
5-2.
Yeah. Gang. Keep up.
Guys, come on. We'll get this. Which United player refused to shake Schmeichel's hand in the tunnel in 2002? Ooh, well, I think I know this. I know this. Which United player
2002.
refused to shake Schmeichel's hand in the tunnel in 2002? So
now, Scholes is
Peter Schmeichel.
The other two are too tempting for me to go for Paul Scholes at all. And I'm not sure Scholes has got that much about him, but I think he's at least probably a nice bloke. Neville, I remember, there's quite a famous clip, I think it's before an Arsenal match, where I think maybe Vieira tries to shake Neville's hand. Or is it Schmeichel? It's Schmeichel, isn't it? It's Gary Neville, yeah, it's Gary Neville.
So, which United player refused to shake Peter Schmeichel's hand?
I'm saying it's Gary Neville.
In the tunnel in 2002.
Yeah. I didn't realise that was back in 2002, though.
Loads of people here saying Roy Keane. We've got one Neville. Martin Abdu saying Roy Keane. Probably Keane.
Probably Keane, because that is the kind of thing Keane does. But I'm pretty sure It's Gary Neville.
I know who
because
it
he's kind
is.
of out of character, and I think that's why I remember it.
Drum roll, please.
Go on, let's have it.
It's Gary Neville, guys. Come on. Yeah, now we're getting the people who write in Neville. You come too late.
Yeah, boys, come on.
Keane, Keane was wrong, guys. A lot of you saying Keane. Gabriel McAvoy said Gary Neville. It's Hawk said Neville. Owen Tully said Neville. Not enough. Can you name?
Mirrors. I'm sorry to be rude. Right.
Can you name this forward? Who's this guy? So this is a young picture of a forward.
Oh,
who do you reckon that is,
familiar.
Guys? Let us know in the comments. Who do you think that is?
This is actually desperately tricky.
That is pretty
This kind
hard.
of thing. Oh, mate, it's painful as well because it rings a bell. Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like it?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cruel. It's tough. I can't. No, I can't do it.
Ryan's saying he wants to leave because he can't lose. Come on, Ryan, stay with us. We're going to be talking
Come
about...
on, you can beat me on this one because I don't know it.
I have no idea who this is.
And somebody, one of you has got to know this. So enlighten us. Or guess. And I'll ask Max not to tell me until we get the big reveal.
Well, Sagar Nation has said that is a picture of Lukaku, surely.
Right.
He must have changed a lot if that's Lukaku. He's grown into a bit of a different type. So, ooh, I think somebody's got it.
Yeah?
I think somebody's got it. I think
Hang on.
Big
Right.
Bruno Alves.
For the sake of having a guess, I'm going to say it's Van Nistelrooy.
Okay, well, Big Bruno Alves, the Tim Skelper, I think, has got it. What a name. Grant Osano has got it. Ooh, It's a Hawk thinks it's somebody else. But a lot of guys here saying Aguero. Let's go. See the answer? I think it might be Aguero, you know, now that I've seen it. Luis Suarez!
No way!
What has happened to his teeth?
What?
What happened to his teeth?
To be fair, you can see the beginnings of like a fairly sizable set of gnashers on that picture.
What, sorry? yeah. Suarez, I think Suarez must have had some sort of accident following that picture. Because he looks a little bit different now.
He also looks nice.
Yeah, looks like a nice
You
little
could
chap,
run over there and ruffle his head, and you could have a little joke with him. You could do something with him.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I wouldn't want to go near
I don't
him.
think anyone got that.
Who said this? Like, sorry, I'm doing your job, mate.
Who said this? I've been consistent in patches this season. Oh, we're not even. Oh, we're getting. Yeah. Wilfred Zaha, Theo Walcott, or Ian Rush. So we've got two quite contemporary, well, definitely contemporary answers. And then Ian Rush, a little bit of a curveball. Whether that's meant to throw you off or lead you on the right track, I can't say.
I used to have this book, I remember for Christmas one year, I think my dad got me this book of quotes.
Lakshya saying, he said Suarez, by the way. If I missed that, Lakshya, then I'm sorry.
Sorry, mate.
I'm very sorry. He did say it. He did say Suarez, Lakshya saying Suarez, and he was right. Got to say, he was correct. You did get it, Lakshya. Sorry about that. You got a book of quotes.
Yeah, I had a book of quotes, right. Just called We Murdered Them 0-0. It was just quotes from, I think, Alex Ferguson and loads of idiots in football contradicting themselves completely. And this would have fitted in very nicely. I don't know.
Well, you're going to have to guess because I've got a guess here from the Onefootball army. They are letting me know who they think it is.
Season. Right, Walcott. It's Walcott.
Ah, they're saying Walcott as well. Drum roll. It is Walcott.
Mate, I seriously can't be stopped.
He's an invincible. He's invincible, guys. Come on. We've got to get him. I thought he was going to go for Ian Rush there. Who has played? Oh, this is a good one. Who has played in the North London derby, the Merseyside derby, the Manchester derby, and the Tyne and Wear derby? And I know the answer.
I think I know who that is as well. It's Anelka, isn't it?
Luis Suarez, Nicolas Anelka, or Michael
Luis
Owen.
Saha.
Luis Saha, sorry, lost Suarez. Luis Saha, Nicolas Anelka, Michael Owen. I know the answer. I'm the best. Do you guys know the answer?
I'm going to say Anelka. I think it's Anelka. Anelka got around a lot, didn't he?
Anelka did get around a lot.
I'm going for Nicolas.
You're going to go for Anelka?
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of the Onefootball army, I'm going to go for Luis Saha, who used to play for Newcastle. something Anelka never did. And I think it's Louis Saha.
Oh, fucked it.
Yep, you. Ah! The man can be beaten.
No.
We have taken him down to the ground. That was an easy question. Just think about where Louis Saha is playing. Surely. He played at Newcastle, he played at Everton, he played at
I know that now.
and he played at Manchester United. Anelka never played.
Yeah.
He did play for Liverpool, didn't he? Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like he's everywhere. Who's the player to play in the Merseyside derby on both sides in one season? We need the Nick Barmby, Abel Xavier, and Peter Beardsley. I have no idea.
I know it.
You know it.
I'm back on form.
Yeah, by the way,
read it very
just
recently.
recapping, Manchester United dab mud. He said Saha, he got it right.
Well in, mate.
So, well, actually, what you did say was Anelka or Saha, so that's a little bit of a cop-out. But you did say Saha afterwards. I need answers from you guys. Just still waiting for answers to come in from you guys. Who's the player to play in the Merseyside derby on both sides in one season? And you reckon you know this?
I know that I know it because I read it very recently.
Well, give us the answer then.
Xavier.
Well, it's Hawk saying Xavier as well. He's got it right.
He has
I
indeed.
think, sounds like it. Abel Xavier.
Yes.
Playing on both sides of the season. That's quite remarkable, I've got to say. Pretty
Yeah, that's
remarkable.
good.
Pretty remarkable stuff. You learn something new every day on Onefootball quiz time. And that's it. And I don't think,
Oh, that's us.
I don't
it?
think we have to count
We're
to
done.
tell you that Tom unfortunately
Yeah.
won this derby round of questions. He was actually bricking it before
I
the show,
was
thinking, I'm going to
crapping
like
my pants.
ruin this quiz. I won't be able to get anything.
Yeah, I'm going to get the sack.
And he got one wrong.
One wrong.
And it wasn't even the daddy long leg one. He knew about the daddy long leg penises. What is this? Right, guys. We're just going to take a little a break in a moment because we want to tell you about a very special guy. In fact, not we, Oliver Moody, who
Yes,
you might
sir.
know, Onefootball Arsenal aficionado, a huge fan of Arsenal. And this team, they haven't been doing too well in the recent years. And we're going to be talking about the Manchester derby in just a moment. But first, we want to talk about Sven Mislintat, the man who took Borussia Dortmund from mid-table mediocrity to the Champions League final.
One of the men.
One of the men, but one of the men behind the scenes that you didn't know, and he's now gone to Arsenal. Let's see what Ollie has got to say about the Diamond Eye.
I'm looking forward to this. I haven't seen this. Go on.
Two record-breaking moves have bookended a new dawn in the transfer market over the last few months. Everyone knew about the first one because you couldn't open your browser without reading about Neymar's move to PSG. But you may not have heard about the second one, or even know the man involved. He's the reason Dortmund have made more money from player sales than every club except Monaco over the last 2 years. And the reason Dortmund can afford to lose big-name players to Man United, Barcelona and Bayern Munich, and still have some of the best young players in Europe. Now Arsenal have decided that if they can't afford the most exciting young football talents on the planet, they'll get the man who finds them before they're big. Here he is, Sven Mislintat, the man set to lead the Gunners in football's recruitment arms race. And if you don't recognise him, I don't blame you. But he's there to make sure Arsenal bring in young stars and make big bucks if they ever have to sell them. This is not just about Arsenal and Dortmund, it's about every club who can't afford to drop 200 million on a player, and the blueprint that can bring them success without that uber financial backing. We'll tell you why this is Arsenal's biggest signing in years, based on Mislintat's track record, how the club can use his work, and why Arsenal is an even better place for him than Dortmund. That is, if they go back to playing younger players like they used to. This whole plan falls over if they don't have a coach who plays the mega-talented kids. If you've watched a Dortmund game in the last decade, you've enjoyed the fruits of Sven Mislintat's labour. He played a role in bringing the likes of Mats Hummels and Jakub Blaszczykowski to the club before making his big breakthrough with Shinji Kagawa. At that time, Kagawa was practically unknown. In fact, he'd only played 11 games in the Japanese top flight, which is why Dortmund got him for a measly £300,000. Just 2 years, 29 goals, 2 Bundesliga titles and 1 German Cup later, he left Dortmund for about 15 million. Not a bad return. That same summer Kagawa signed, Mislintat also convinced BVB to shell out about £4 million for Robert Lewandowski. He racked up over 100 goals in yellow and black before leaving for Bayern. And after that, he really started showing off. For his next trick, he brought in Ilkay Gundogan, and it didn't take long for him to become a key player. Mislintat also saw past Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's flaws, and after an inconsistent first season, he became one of the most lethal strikers in Europe. And then there's Ousmane Dembélé. You remember Dembélé, the raw winger Dortmund signed on Mislintat's recommendation with just 1 year of top-flight football under his belt. I don't need to tell you what happened just 13 months later. No wonder they call Mislintat Diamond Eye in Germany. There's no doubt about the Super Scout success rate when it comes to finding players with huge potential. But would it work just as well at Arsenal? Well, the Gunners clearly think so. They've paid Dortmund a record £1.5 million to prize him away from the Ruhr club's grasp, and about the same amount to the scout himself every year. And it's not hard to see why. We talked about Mesut Ozil's impending departure, and Alexis Sanchez is in the same boat. Losing 2 players with their quality, possibly for no money at all, that's going to hurt. And it's not just an attack that Arsenal urgently need some fresh blood. Per Mertesacker is retiring at the end of the season. By then, Petr Cech will have passed his 36th birthday, while Laurent Koscielny and Nacho Monreal will both be 32. Arsene Wenger has already been forced to play the likes of Sead Kolasinac and Francis Coquelin at centre-back this season. The situation will only get worse if Arsenal can't bring in real quality in the next few windows. And it's not like Arsenal can just throw money at the problem. Despite making a profit on transfers in the summer, stories emerged that the club didn't have the cash for a showcase signing on deadline day, and rumours of a massive bid for Thomas Lemar were roundly ridiculed. So how do you respond to losing arguably your 2 best players with an ageing squad and not much cash to play with? That's right, you hire the best scout in the business. Mislintat has the goods and Arsenal need to buy. But why exactly does Mislintat need Arsenal? The reason is simple. He has the chance to do something scouts rarely achieve, becoming a cult hero credited with effecting real, tangible change. Arsenal fans are well and truly fed up with a setup that stinks of a conservative mindset. Even the Arsenal-knows best lot think it's time for Wenger to go. His last contract extension nearly started a riot, even though he won the FA Cup. The man whose name was once a byword for innovation now seems too stubborn to change. And Wenger's still far more popular than Stan Kroenke and Ivan Gazidis. So there's space for a revolutionary figure to come in and put structures in place to make Arsenal a club that leads the way once again. If Mislintat can bring the change Arsenal fans are desperate for and unearth a few talents good enough to make Arsenal challenge for the league title again, then he would be celebrated in a way usually reserved for top players and coaches. And Arsenal's move to bring him in would become a model for clubs aiming to win the transfer market. And there you have it. Mislintat's incredible hit rate, Arsenal's impending squad troubles, and their desperate need for a fresh approach could make this the most important decision the club has made in a long time. And if it works out, it's one everyone will be trying to copy. Or am I just getting too excited? Tell us what you think in the comments.
This city is yours. 20,000 empty seats. Are you fucking sure? Oh, hello, Dan. Didn't see you there. Didn't know you were going to be arriving. Great to see you. Great to have you live on Skype, joining us from somewhere right outside the Etihad, as I've been reliably informed by the wall behind you. How you doing?
I'm all right, yeah. I'm a long way outside the Etihad, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, all roads lead to Manchester, as the saying goes, apparently. For those of you who don't know, Dan Burke is part of the Onefootball newsroom team and an expert on Manchester City, and I believe also a Manchester City fan. Is that all correct, Dan?
Yeah, I'm a City fan, long suffering until quite recently when we got loads of money and started winning stuff.
Yeah, so you started becoming a fan when Sheikh Mansour took over, or when Thaksin Shinawatra took over?
Francis Lee was actually chairman when I first started.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I've got to take you seriously. Good stuff. Are you, tell us a little bit about yourself, because you used to write, I think it was a blog called Blue Moon, is that correct?
That was a podcast that I used to do, Blue Moon podcast. I used to do a blog called Typical City as well. Typical City was very much the sort of the theme of City fandom for a long time, in that City would all have this habit of shooting themselves in the foot, so we call it Typical City.
Nice one. So a real, an actual genuine Manchester City fan talking to a genuine Manchester United fan who's not from Manchester, so that puts my street cred a little bit down. Let's talk about the derby then, because I'm kind of annoyed at you guys last night, because there was going to be a real streak off, as I'd like to call it, because United had this 40-game unbeaten home run, and then City had this 29 unbeaten game run over all competitions. But of course, that's kind of gone out the window. How do you feel the game last night went, and do you think it'll affect the derby?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, it was an understrength team that Guardiola went with in that game. Perhaps not as understrength as it could have been. I was expecting, a team of children basically, and there were a few first teamers in there. They didn't play well at all, City. The goalkeeper made a bit of a howler for Shakhtar's second goal. And I don't think City have been playing brilliantly in the past few weeks at all now. The results haven't really reflected that, and they've still been winning aside from last night. But you look at the games against Huddersfield, Southampton, and West Ham. Required late goals coming from behind to win all three of them. And it's just, I don't know if it's going to be the same on Sunday, but I just feel that City have hit a little bit of a slump at the moment, and the performances have been a little bit lacklustre. Perhaps the thing that might work in their favour on Sunday is that United won't sit behind the ball in the way that a lot of the teams have done and defend with 10 men in their own area, because that's something that City have kind of struggled with a little bit recently. But yeah, I'm feeling a little bit pessimistic going into Sunday's game, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Well, you've completely shocked me there, Dan, because not only are you pessimistic going into this derby, you also think that Mourinho's not going to park the bus, which is like the minority opinion at the moment. Everybody's talking about that. I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, it was an understrength side, and I mean, I don't personally think we can read too much into that last result. However, I do think you're right. You've got a point with recent results against Southampton and Huddersfield, because teams have seemingly figured out there is some sort of a way to at least begin to stop City. Because I'll be perfectly honest with you, I stopped watching City games. On Match of the Day, I would just look away recently, because I was getting so depressed at how good City were. And now the last two games were interesting. But I mean, you guys still won. I reckon, I mean, now that Pogba's out especially, we're going to see Fellaini in the mix probably, and we'll probably see a United side sitting quite deep. First time, incidentally, I like the stat, that Jesus has ever lost in a City shirt. Yeah. Which is incredible. But let's talk about the teams then on this weekend's derby. I mean, who would you want from United? Is there any player that could get into your team?
City's team? Well, you'd have to say David De Gea first and foremost, wouldn't you? The man is absolutely phenomenal, as he showed at Arsenal last week. I think we've got a very good goalkeeper nowadays as well, but nobody's even comes close to matching De Gea in world football at the moment. And Pogba would be the other one, I think, who would fit into any midfield in the world. Apart from that, I don't know really. I don't know whether there are any players that I would really want to see in a City shirt. Maybe someone like Marcus Rashford would be good. But apart from that, no. I think maybe Eric Bailly is another one, actually. I think is a superb player who would probably slot right into City's team. But yeah, generally there aren't too many that I would take, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not surprised for you saying that. I mean, I've got to say Kevin De Bruyne would be someone I'd love to poach from City. What a brilliant player he's been, and Jesus as well. I mean, quick question, slightly going away from the derby, but you say Marcus Rashford be a player that you would like to see in the squad? What did you make of City getting rid of Kelechi Iheanacho?
I think it was the right decision. I don't think he was. I mean, the fact that Gabriel Jesus is kind of struggling to get in the team a little bit this season shows that there aren't too many places for strikers in Pep's current system. So I think if Iheanacho was still here, he just wouldn't be playing, which is not great for him. And I don't think he's playing an awful lot of Leicester at the moment either. But he's a good young player. I don't know whether he's going to be as brilliant as perhaps we first thought when he burst onto the scene. But if he does, I think City have got a buyback clause in the deal that they sold him to Leicester for, so they can always buy him back for 50 million or something if he truly does come good. But it wasn't one that depressed me too much, to be honest.
Okay, well let's look at the table then. I mean, which is for me very difficult to look at now. I mean, I can't believe you're saying you're pessimistic. Surely, if City win this, is the title race for all intents and purposes over? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it is actually. I mean, we often hear with these games that it's the titles are going to be decided by this game and everything's on the line, and that's rarely the case. But I actually think it is this time around. I mean, if City was to go 11 points clear at this stage of the season, it's not an insurmountable lead, but it's a very big one, and it would require a real big swing in fortunes for both teams to turn that around. Whereas United win the game, it's 5 points and it's well and truly game on. So I think there is a real lot at stake here, and I don't think it's necessarily a must-win for United, but it's certainly a must-not lose. I think 8 points is a lot more manageable than 11, and as I say, 5 points will be United right back in it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, looking at the two managers, Guardiola and Mourinho, they've played 19 games against each other, in which there were 6 draws and 9 wins for Pep. So the omen is, I mean, the stats point into Pep's favour. Do you think we'll see? I mean, earlier on you were mentioning you don't necessarily expect United to park the bus. What kind of game do you think we'll be seeing?
I think it could be quite an open game. Perhaps United will be hoping it isn't quite as open as the one they had at Arsenal last week when their goal was under siege for most of the game. But I think Mourinho certainly showed in the early stages of that game that he's not this sort of totally negative manager that people often paint him to be. And United came out and attacked Arsenal and really forced errors from them early on and scored those 2 early goals. So I think they'd want to score the first goal on Sunday as well. So if they come out and attack City, then City do have vulnerabilities that they can get at there. In terms of the fact that United can't afford to lose this game, or a draw wouldn't be a terrible result for either side, but it certainly suits City a lot better. So I can't imagine why Mourinho would try and set up for a draw in this game, as he's been accused of in recent games, of the one at Anfield, for example. So yeah, I can see it being quite an open game, but it also wouldn't surprise me if it finished 0-0, to be honest.
Well, I really hope it doesn't finish 0-0. The last time I went to a Manchester derby was under Van Gaal, and it was at Old Trafford, and it was 0-0. And I left just thinking, I'd rather, I wouldn't rather City had won, but I wanted to see some goals. It was a very frustrating day. I can tell you that much. But I think now that Pogba's not in the team, he's going to set up a bit differently, because Pogba allows for a much more effective counter-attack because of his range of passing. And you can then have players like Lingard, Martial and Lukaku just waiting for the counter-attack, give it to Paul, he'll ship it up and he'll find me. Whereas now, with presumably Fellaini in the mix, I could see him maybe playing Herrera, but I reckon he'll go for Fellaini. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I reckon he'll go for 3 at the back with Young and Valencia as wing-backs. They've been doing really well. Remains to be seen, though, if it'll be Herrera or Fellaini. That's going to be the big one for me in terms of what kind of a game we're going to see. But is there any player on current form then that who would worry you? Who is sort of the player that you would say as a defender, if you were a City defender, for instance, we've got to watch out for him?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Fellaini, actually, because the past couple of games, City have been really poor in terms of defending set pieces. They conceded a goal against West Ham last weekend from a set piece. Southampton should have scored twice in the first half against them from set pieces. They hit the crossbar with 1 chance. So if Fellaini does play, I can see that being a real area that United will be looking to target, getting balls into the box from corners and free kicks and that sort of thing, and seeing what he can do, because he's not one for the purists, is he, Fellaini, but he's effective and quite good at what he does. So that could be an area that United might have the edge in. I'm still not sort of wholly convinced by City defensively this season. I think Otamendi's having a very good game. But I read just before we started this actually that apparently Vincent Kompany felt a bit of a niggle. He was supposed to play in the game last night and he didn't play. So we could well be seeing Mangala in the defence on Sunday, which
yes,
red if I'm honest. So yeah, I certainly think United have got something to get at City there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to. I hope he's going to play Martial, Lingard, and Lukaku together because I felt they've been doing really well. Although Rashford, Martial is the conundrum that has followed United all season because I think Lingard's on great form at the moment and he proved it against Arsenal. But even before that, one last thing to talk about before we go. Michael Oliver this season has been in charge of 4 Manchester United games. No, not this season, this year, and 0 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. 3 penalties awarded against United and 1 United player sent off. Do you think he'll play any role in the derby?
Oh, I hope so, if that's the case, yeah. I think Arsenal have a bit of a problem with Michael Oliver as well. I think they've got a similarly bad record for him. So
yeah.
I don't know what that's about. But I do recall there was a derby a few years ago. I think it was 2014 possibly. Michael Oliver refereed. He sent off Chris Smalling at the Etihad Stadium. And City won that game 1-0. And there was that incident which I think a few United fans still aren't over, where Joe Hart kind of put his face into Oliver's face and he didn't even get a yellow card for it or anything like that. So I don't know whether he does have some sort of bias towards City, but if that's the case, let's hope it comes out on Sunday.
Okay, well I hope it doesn't. I hope we see a good match though. I hope we see goals. If I'm going to be pushed for a prediction, probably would say 1-1. I reckon maybe 1-0 to United, but that's me being optimistic. What's your prediction, Dan?
Well, games like this, I always say I hope football's the true winner, but if football can't be the winner, then I hope City are. So I'll go for 2-1 City. A prediction that I don't entirely believe, but let's see.
Okay, well let's hope Mangala plays and Jesse Lingard gets a hat-trick. It's great talking to you, Dan. Thanks for joining us. I'm gonna have to put my journalistic neutrality back on now and take this off. Yeah, hope we see a good derby on the weekend. All the best of luck to your side, all the best to mine. Well, great to speak to Dan and Tom. What do you reckon then? Manchester derby. You're the neutral here, so you can maybe lend a little bit of clarity and perspective.
Can I?
Will Michael Oliver give City 5 penalties and send 3 United players off? No. What do you think? What do you expect from this derby? Paul Pogba obviously missing. What's your expectation as a neutral?
My expectation as... I mean, I think probably in footballing terms, Mourinho is going to do what the worst Mourinho pessimists expect him to do, which is to sit back and just do everything to make sure that he doesn't lose. I think City, if you do that against City, they can be opened up and they can be attacked and they can be hurt.
Well, we saw. I mean, Dan was just saying, he's worried actually because he says against Huddersfield and Southampton, they didn't play well, they didn't deal well with the defending, and maybe a better side than Huddersfield or Southampton would have actually then taken the chances that they had, because they did have chances.
Yeah, exactly.
At corners, for instance, and free kicks. Maybe a side like United with old Fellaini.
And also those late winners, I don't think they can. They can't count on that to come off again against United, because United are just a better side than that. Still, I think Mourinho knows that it's way too important a game to lose, because if it's kind of ridiculous to say it already at the start of December, but it could be a title decider. Because if they go 11 points clear, that is enormous. It's going to be very hard to pull back. And Mourinho definitely knows that, so I think he's going to do all that he can to make sure that he doesn't get peppered.
Yeah, I mean, I think a draw. I think a draw wouldn't be great for United, but it'd be better.
A win would be massive. A win, and it's all back on again. But I don't think it's going to go that way.
I hope that they will win. I mean, the fact that Pogba's not there is going to make a big difference, because the range of passing that Pogba has lends itself to their counter-attacking performance that would work well against City. So we'd have a very strong defensive unit, and then you'd have Ashley Young, Antonio Villas on the sides. Big Ashley Young, bit of former Aston Villa fan, of course, for Tom Genoy. Do you remember seeing Ashley Young? Did you go to the match?
Of course, I used to love watching Ashley Young. Ashley Young invented what quite a few players did after him, which was that little bit of tissue paper or something. I don't know what it was, like a bandage or something, hanging out of his socks. Ashley Young invented that.
For what?
Geezer.
What was the?
I got no idea, but it looked pretty sick.
Well, what do you then, having grown up with Ashley Young not playing in that position, what do you make of his new position?
Fair play. I think he's adaptable. I mean, I've got to at some point, as a Villa fan, when you realise that your team's become a feeder club, and Villa fell off a long time ago, at some point you've got to say fair play to the players who left it, who left Villa, did well at bigger clubs, and especially if, like Young, they've had to take on a new position and show that they can do a lot more than all that Martin O'Neill made them do. So fair enough, actually, hats off.
We've got a lot of love for both teams coming into the chat right now. Lakshya, obviously a big United fan. Ryan, a big City fan. Two of the stalwarts here in the Onefootball chat. Of course, Owen Tully reckons that City's going to win. Amazing Peoples wants to know who's the home side. It's Manchester United. They haven't been beaten for 40 games at home. Will that change on Sunday? I mean, City losing yesterday against Shakhtar Donetsk, admittedly with a weakened side.
Yeah, of course, a weakened side.
But I mean, that ended a 29 unbeaten game run. It would have been a nice little, who can break whose streak.
If they win, if they do win at United now, they will not only end this 40-game home unbeaten run for United, but they will also, I think, they'll have won 14 games or something on the trot in the league.
That could be. That sounds like.
Can I be right about that? Which is, I think it's a record. It's a record run inside of one season or something.
Who then?
They're breaking records already.
Dan was just saying,
if it happens,
if he could poach any players from United, it would be De Gea and Pogba.
Yeah.
Other way round, if United could choose someone from Manchester City, for me, it's Kevin De Bruyne who's the big one.
Nah, it's Fabian Delph, mate. Definitely, they're getting their hands on Delph.
Yeah.
Nah, of course it's De Bruyne. Yeah, of course it's De Bruyne. Silva, I mean, Silva is just so sick. He's a general, of course, yeah. I mean, he's beyond it.
Crap.
But he's up there. It's De Bruyne and Sané, mate.
Sané's a beast player, but you know what? He tattooed himself on his own back, which for me disqualifies him from any kind of legend status. He's just awful.
Yeah, but to be fair, he's he's like 19 years old or something. He's 20 years old or something.
Lakshya making the point that a draw would, of course, preserve both streaks, although City's streak has gone because they lost to Shakhtar Donetsk, although he might be referring to the Premier League streak.
No, it's a winning streak in the league.
Oh, okay. But a draw.
Because the last team that they failed to beat was apparently Everton. Get your head around that one, mate.
Score prediction for Tom Genoy. What do you reckon? Manchester derby, Merseyside derby. I need both.
Ooh.
Start with whichever you want, and then maybe you can throw in a score prediction for Aston Villa Millwall.
Right. So I think in the Merseyside derby, I think 3-1 Liverpool. I think Manchester derby, I can't really see it getting much more than 2-1, perhaps either way. I'm going to say 1-1.
1-1.
And Aston Villa Millwall, we're obviously going to spank Millwall right back to Bermondsey. 3-0 Villa.
Okay, well, I reckon Millwall going to win 1-0, just to offer a difference of opinion on that one. But no, Merseyside derby, it's really difficult. I feel like Everton could nick it, but my gut just tells me
they can't nick it.
1-0 Liverpool.
Although, where is that game? Sorry to interrupt you. Where is that? Who's at home? I thought Liverpool were at home, but I might be completely wrong, and I might just have made that up.
I believe it's Liverpool at home, and it is indeed Liverpool.
It's Liverpool
at home.
I didn't have to check that. 3-0 Liverpool, mate.
I reckon, I mean, Liverpool, I reckon 1-0. Nah, 2-0 Liverpool. Not 7-0 like on yesterday. But, okay, 2-0 Liverpool and Manchester derby. I'm just going to be confident. I'm just going to say it, 2-1 United.
Live it. Yes.
I just got a feeling, without Pogba, it's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. Guys, thanks so much for taking part in the chat today. Manchester United Dab Mud is already saying, got to go, good night, everyone. We've got to go
See you
as
later,
well.
mate. Thank you.
Next week, Thursday, I won't be back, but Tom might be back, but somebody will be back every Thursday, Onefootball Live, here on the YouTube channel. And of course, get the app, guys, to stay in touch ahead of the derbies, ahead of all the matches on the weekend. You can get all your scores, send right to your phone. You can get all the latest news from your club, tailored in a stream. Beautiful, lovely.
It's nice, isn't it?
Green. It is a nice little app, isn't it?
And I follow a 4th division side in Germany, and I found out that they even give me score notifications from their games. So
wonderful.
Very, very impressive.
Beautiful. Is that Babelsberg?
It is Babelsberg.
It is Babelsberg. Right, we've got to go, but thanks so much for joining us today, guys, in the chat, and obviously joining, even if you didn't comment. It's been lovely to be here for you guys. Make sure you subscribe, stay in touch every Thursday, Onefootball Live, every day, new video content, and of course, on the app, you'll always stay in touch with all the latest footballing news. And on Mondays, 1-2 with this guy, you can send him your questions.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah.
We use the hashtag 12 to mine our comments. Those are the ones we look for. Yeah, and I'm going to be back here on Monday with big man Matt.
Matt Froelich,
taking your
bright
seat.
and early. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, Thursday.
Nice one.